It is the Walkthrough Game Day Show presented by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort. I'm Schuyler Callihan, and if you're wondering where Eugene Napoleon is, well, we're dealing with some technical difficulties, so he's going to be joining us audio only today, but that's okay. We still got him in here. We're going to talk West Virginia's win over Texas Tech. We're going to do our defensive draft. We've already done the all-time offensive draft. We've already done the Mountaineer Rushmore last week, and the fans voted for Gene the last two times. So it's time for me to get myself going here and get back on track. And then we'll dive into West Virginia TCU, and then of course wrap up the show with our picks. So Gene, West Virginia 20-13 over Texas Tech. Again, wasn't the ugliest game or the prettiest game. It was the ugliest game, honestly. As we said in the Mountaineers Now post game show on Saturday, what do you take from those types of games, especially when it's been 2 weeks in a row you've won like that, and you've had a redshirt freshman quarterback at the helm? Is there something that you take away from that, as in, like, this has got to be the way that they win moving forward, or is that just a matter of that's just those 2 weeks and you just kind of got to move on from
I think whenever you can win, first off, it's hard to win at this level. I've always said that anytime you can get a victory, yeah, it's an ugly win, but it's a win nonetheless. Um, I think it shows character. I think it shows character in a part of what we had to do offensively, defensively, special teams. It was a total team win. I think the coaching staff did an excellent job of putting it together and salting the game away. There were some parts in the game where I was a little bit frustrated because I kind of felt like offensively we could have done some things, open it up a little bit more. But nonetheless, to me, a win's a win. I would rather take an ugly win than, and I would say like a pretty loss, if that makes any sense. Because you know what?
it? Yeah,
You play well, you lose by three, you're playing a really good football team, and you kind of imagine if we'd have lost to Penn State only by a field goal.
yeah,
Right? Did everybody, oh man, when they hung in there, they only lost by a field goal? Yeah, it's an ugly loss. I mean, it's a pretty like win in a way because you didn't get blown off the field. I don't believe in that. Give me the ugly wins all day long because they still go as a W in the win column. I'll take them.
yeah,
Now,
and
I don't want
you,
to continue to play that way moving forward. Hopefully, we'll get it together and you start to string out some really good, concisive wins.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Tech. I mean, they lost their starting quarterback for I don't know how long he's going to be out. I think something came out earlier this week. It said maybe 6 to 8 weeks, but that's a tough injury. Tyler Shuck. It seems like that kid's been battling injury since he entered college. Just a very nasty, ugly injury. I would advise you to not go find the video if you haven't seen it yet. Do not look it up. It is a very nasty looking injury, but I think the theme about this game, everyone talks about, well, yeah, Tyler Shuck really wasn't doing anything either when he was in the game before he got hurt. But Gene, my thinking on it is, yeah, he didn't do anything to that point. But we're talking it was very early in the game. It's still early in the first half. I feel like a veteran quarterback like Tyler Shuck, who has been through the ups and downs, and all the peaks and valleys in that anyone can have in a college career, he was going to figure something out at some point. He was going to start hitting his completions. He was going to get down the field. He's going to move the chains. He's going to score the ball. I have a feeling that Texas Tech would have scored more than 13 points if Tyler Shuck played the entire game. I'm not saying that they would have won the game. I don't know that. That's a very huge hypothetical, but I think it's pretty safe to say they would have been a lot better off with Tyler Shuck at quarterback because he would have figured things out as they went, as opposed to Baron Morton being thrown in there in the fire after only having 20% reps during the week. So I think that's something that a lot of Mountaineer fans are overlooking. And it's, again, as you and I talked about it off the air over the weekend, that's kind of the big, scary thing about this, because West Virginia should have been up by more than what they were at the half. And it felt like they had dominated that game, yet they just weren't up by more than a score. So that's the scary thing about it. And again, you add Tyler Shuck actually playing more in this game, who knows what happens?
I agree with you 100%. I think a lot of people don't understand this as well. When you lose your starting quarterback, what hurts that's your emotional leader, usually.
Yeah.
So you lose him early, you don't know what that game would have turned out to have been, let's say third quarter, fourth quarter, because you have to shrink your playbook a little bit, and I'm sure they did as well with the second string kid coming in. So you don't know what that would have looked like. You don't know if some of the mistakes that was made would have been made with him at quarterback. Unfortunately, like you said, Schuyler, it is a shame whenever you lose a kid like that to that type of injury. And I know he's been hit with the injury bug since he's got at the collegiate level. I'm praying for him and his family, and I'm hoping that it's a speedy recovery. I'm hoping that he gets a chance to finish out, and do the things that I'm sure that he's dreamt of doing. You don't want to leave the game with that type of injury at all, especially where he is in his season. In a weird way, when you lose again an emotional leader, that takes a lot out of a team.
Yeah.
It definitely does. So I would have loved to have seen Texas Tech at their very best, because I would have loved to have seen how we would have had to play that game for 4 quarters with them being at their very best. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like any excuse loopholes, so to speak. Well, they won, but they didn't have their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. We're at this level, and you win some, you lose some. But like I said, I'm praying for this young man that he makes a speedy recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, I picked Texas Tech to win last week, and I got that one wrong. I'll admit it. But
Yes,
but I had picked against West Virginia in the season opener against Penn State. And the one thing that I had seen a couple of people say in the comments that I'm not high on West Virginia, or why am I always picking against West Virginia? Look, I'm going to keep it 100% real with you. I will never pick West Virginia if I do not think they will win the game. I'll give a little shout out, a little foreshadowing here. I have West Virginia winning a few games that are upcoming. So depending on where I go this week, we'll see. But I'm just saying, like, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not going to just pick West Virginia to win every week. That's not what my job is. My job is to give you what I think is going to happen, and I'm not going to be a homer. I'm not going to be biased about it. But
what are you saying there, Scott?
but no. But Gene, you've got a little bit of different. You're a little different though, because you're a former player. You've got to be the guy that kind of makes us all feel good at the end of the day, which is kind of a tough job for you, as considering how bad this team has been in the last few years. But if you want to get fired up, Gene's going to deliver a nice little pregame speech here at the end of the show. And I think you're going to want to stick around for that. So if my pick, for some reason, doesn't jive with what you're feeling today, just wait. Gene will make you feel a whole lot better at the end of the show. So anyways, let's move into our all-time defensive draft. And what we're going to do with this, we could have went with the whole 11, but we're not going to keep you here forever with it. So we're going to go 2 players short. We're going to go 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 3 defensive backs. It can be any safety, corner, whatever. So Gene went first in the all-time offensive draft. I went first in the Mountaineer Rushmore draft. So I will give it back to Gene. And Eugene, I hate to do this to you, but I'll give you the first overall pick. So you, my good sir, are on the clock.
I thank you very much for that, my good sir. And with my first pick, I'm going to go with a hand up, not in the ground, one of the greatest sack leaders to ever play at WVU, Bruce Irvine.
Oh, Bruce Irvine.
And that's it, Bruce Irvine. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, I honestly did not think that's where you were going to go. I really didn't. That was going to be my second pick. I thought he would last a little bit. Okay, so you're going Bruce Irvine.
Yes.
Well, I will go with the guy I thought you were going to take, and that is Mr. Darryl Talley.
Didn't I tell you to stay off my board, man? Didn't I tell you that? Okay, well, I'm gonna go with a blast from the past. One of the greatest defensive linemen to ever play at WVU, played in the Super Bowl. I'm going with David Grant.
David Grant. Okay. So let me see where I want to go here. I'm going to stick in the front seven here, and I'm going with Reynaldo Turnbull. How about that?
Dude, didn't I ask you to stay on my board? Okay, and that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, you know what? I got to get me a lockdown corner.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Do-It-All, Pac-Man Jones.
Okay. I can live with that. Because that was going to be my CB too. So I'm okay. The guy I wanted to take, and I'm going to take right now before you get him, Aaron Beasley. Give me Aaron Beasley.
That was my guy. Okay, I got you. Well, on the other, listen, you need somebody in the back end to get everybody going. So I'm going to go with, at safety, Bo Orlando.
Okay. I'm going to go with another linebacker here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hope that the guy I don't pick here lasts. So I will go with Grant Wiley.
Wow. Let me tell you something. He was on my board as well. Okay, you got Mr. Yeah, he's a good one. But there's none other better. Listen, he's a great one, but when you got a Hall of Fame at the next level, man, and you got that gold jacket, I'm going to go with Mr. Sam Huff.
Okay. And I actually respect that a lot, because I think a lot of people don't really know about Sam Huff. Obviously, he was well before my time, before your time even. And I think he's one of the greatest Mountaineers ever. But I like some of these other guys in terms of the linebacker room. So I will go with Canute Curtis.
Dang, that was my next pick, my guy. That's really good. That was my next pick. So
it's starting to sound like I may have the upper advantage, Eugene.
Listen, it sounds pretty good right now, but don't count the chickens before they hatch now. So I'm gonna go with Mr. David Long Jr.
That's a good pick. Yep, he was on my list. And I'll go through some of the guys that I didn't pick if Gene doesn't pick them at the end at linebacker, because I like a few of these other ones. I need to get more stout up front. So how about John Thornton?
Wow. Okay. Well, let me see. To round out my up front, you know what? I'm going to get a little bit sturdy and stout as well. I'm going to go with Big Mike Fox.
That was going to be my next guy. I don't know if I was going to pick him next, but he was going to be my last defensive lineman that I was going to take. So you got me there. I'm going to go back to the secondary. Actually, no, I'm going to wait, because I think that there's more options in the secondary. I'm going to go ahead and take the next best guy on my board at defensive line, and that's Julian Miller.
Oh, why are you in my draft room, buddy? But you know what's so funny? I'm gonna go back up front there too, because I got two big meat eaters with Mike Fox and David Grant. I'm gonna go with Dante Stills.
And that was my last guy on the D-line board. So we're thinking alike. It's just where we have these guys positioned. So, all right, so I've got my D-line group taken care of. I've got my linebackers taken care of. Now I need two guys in the secondary. So give me, look, there's so many guys that I could go with in this secondary, but I can't leave this draft with arguably my favorite player that I've watched in West Virginia history defensively, and that's Carl Joseph. I got to take Carl.
You know what's so funny? I had Carl, yeah, and he was right there. He literally was on my board. So, yeah, you're thinking right. You're definitely thinking right. But you know what? You left me with one of the greatest safeties and all around DBs to ever play at West Virginia. So, Mike Logan.
Oh, I feel defeated.
Yes, sir.
I really, really wanted Mike Logan, and I thought maybe I could get him last pick, but that's but that's okay. I like my options here, and geez, there's so many ways I can go. You know what? I'm gonna go with the guy that leads the or is the all-time leader in interceptions in program history. Give me Steve Newberry.
Oh, great pick. Oh, that's a great pick.
And you were
That
out of
is,
picks, correct?
I believe I was. Let me double check. Yes, I am out of picks. Yep.
All right, so there we go. There's our draft. So let us know in the comments section who has the better team, Team Eugene or Team Schuyler. Come on, y'all, give me just one. I can't get swept in this thing. You got to give me at least one. Just give me one time to have something over Gene's head because he's been killing me in everything so far. Whether it was picks last year, the drafts this year, it's not been well for me. So help a guy out, right? So. Anyways, let's go and get into this West Virginia TCU preview, Gene. And this is two teams kind of on similar paths, right? TCU loses the season opener to Colorado, and that was a very entertaining game, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and they just fell on the wrong side of a shootout. They bounced back, won 3 straight against Nichols, Houston, and SMU. West Virginia, on the other hand, they lose their season opener to arguably one of the best teams in college football in Penn State, and then they rip off 3 straight wins against Duquesne, Pitt, and Texas Tech. So it's teams on similar paths, but when you look at the sports books, you look at the ESPN FBI, the TCU is the heavy favorite in this one. I think TCU, depending on which sports book you're looking at, they're anywhere from 11 to 12 and a half point favorites. The ESPN FPI, they have them as 77.4% chance to win this game. So it's an interesting matchup because you look at TCU and what they do defensively, and everyone just thinks, oh, that defense is just terrible. And I think that's not necessarily the case. Against the pass, yeah, they give up some plays. But against the run, they're pretty stout. They are one of the better run defenses in the country, and it just so happens that's kind of what West Virginia wants to do. They want to run the
Right.
football, and it could be a good thing. This could be a so-called get right game for West Virginia in terms of the passing game, but it could also be a get right game for TCU's pass defense because they can look at West Virginia and say, look, they're not good throwing the football, so maybe our secondary has a good week. So how do you see this one stacking up in terms of how does West Virginia best approach this game offensively? And again, we don't know who's at quarterback. Garrett Green is day to day right now. That'll probably be a game time decision. But regardless of who's at quarterback, what does this game plan and that offensive approach have to be?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Listen, and for me, these type of games I actually love. TCU is a decent football team, but I get so sick and tired, and this is part of my pregame speech, all wrapped up into one, because I get so sick and tired of the so-called experts telling you what the spreads are going to be, what's this going to be. What's that? First off, West Virginia has to win in the trenches. This is the perfect game, offensive line, to gear up, bow their necks, and say, we want to run the football. I don't care who we're playing against. We are going to run the football. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, going to run the football. If you do, you have to punch TCU in the mouth.
Yeah.
I can beat a Mountaineer. I doubt it. Give me the Mountaineer with a weapon versus a frog, and I think we'll win that battle 10 out of 10. Okay? But I'm a little frustrated when I start to think about, again, what these so-called experts and that. The bottom line is this. If we can control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, for instance, when we're on offense and when we're on defense, we need to live in their backfield. On offense, we need to stop them from living in ours, and we need to get better than 3.5 yards per carry when we do run the ball. Keep this thing, at minimum short to, let's say, if it's third and short and we need to convert 60 to 65% of our third downs, against TCU, keep the ball out of harm's way when we do throw it. And Schuyler, I'm going to share this with you, man. I don't think this is going to be what the experts think it's going to be. I really do believe West Virginia has a chance to win this football game and win it the way that we want to win it. What I mean by that is controlling the clock means you're controlling the line of scrimmage, which means you're controlling running the football at a pretty good pace, 4 or 5 yards per carry. You keep TCU's offense off the field if you do that.
Right. And that's what this team has to do. They've got to be able to play clock control, because TCU, they like to go up tempo at times, and they like to get in these kind of high scoring affairs. That's just kind of the nature of their offense. But you look at, I think, the run game, and this is kind of a thing that no one really wants to talk about, but it's just the truth of the matter. Again, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to tell you how it is, right? I'm going to give credit where it's due, and I'm going to give blame when there needs to be blame. And last week, the defense was phenomenal, right? They held Texas Tech to 13 points. They did a lot of good things. The one glaring issue, the run game. They gave up 149 yards to Taj Brooks. And again, Taj Brooks, he's probably one of the better 3 or 4 running backs in the Big 12, maybe top 2 if we're being honest. So, I mean, he's going to have these types of games, but he had a very, very big game down the stretch in that 3rd and 4th quarter. He really got things going. You can't afford to let that happen again this week with Amani Bailey. Amani Bailey is the Big 12 leading rusher, I believe. He had 126 yards and a touchdown last week against SMU, and they are not going to shy away from the run, even though they like to throw it. But this is something that I think this front seven has to take ownership of, and saying, look, we're not letting another guy run for over 100 yards on us, because we know if it does happen, we're putting our offense in a tough spot. They're already in a tough spot with either Garrett coming back at quarterback or Nico making his first ever career road start. So the offense is already up against it. They've got to be able to get off the field. Last week, they did a really good job of that on 3rd down. I think they held Texas Tech to like 2 of 16 or 2 of 18 on 3rd down conversions. That's tremendous defense. Is that going to happen every week? No, it's not. But you've got to be able to get off the field enough, control the clock to a certain extent to where you feel like you dictate this tempo. And I know we sound like broken records because, I mean, let's be honest, this is just what West Virginia is at this point. When you're 4 games into the season, you are what you are. There's not really much to really find out still about this team. Now maybe a little bit about what Garrett Green can do in the offense, but I mean, I feel like it's pretty much already known what he can do, right? So you are what you are. You play good defense. You run the football. You stop the run, and you keep yourself in this game.
I agree. My thing is where I get a little bit sensitive again, talking about, Mountaineer football, is what are we going to do when you come up against teams like TCU, right? Where everybody automatically assumes that you can't do anything to stop them from doing. They can do whatever they want, right? At a certain point, the identity has to be different. You have to change what people think you are and really come out and be what you are. Forget what people are saying, what they think you are. At the end of the day, it's been a long time coming, Schuyler, where we've actually dominated a freaking opponent. And I mean,
that wasn't Duquesne.
No.
That wasn't Duquesne. That wasn't, another FCS opponent. Yeah, I 100% agree.
We have not dominated an opponent like we know we could if all cylinders are hitting the way they need to hit. And like you, I'm going to be keeping a straight 100 as it always goes. For me, it's all about the coaching aspect of it. And I've said that 100 times already. Coach this game as if it's your last game as a coach. Coach this game as if win, lose, or draw, you're going to leave that office as the head coach. Coach this game like your hair is on fire, right? Coach this game like I don't have anything left. I want to leave it all on the field. When we start coaching like that, the players will pick up on that energy and they'll start playing like that. Then you're going to get some dominating games because they'll know our coach is willing, his job is going to be on the line if we don't win this football game. So, how much do we love our beloved coach? Do we love him enough to run through brick walls every time we take the snap? Do we love him enough to make the tackles in open fields and not miss any open field tackles? Do we love him enough when we throwing the ball across the middle on 3rd and 8 and you got to go get it, knowing you're going to get laid out to go get it? Do we love him enough to break 4, 5, 6 tackles to strain and get that extra 2 yards on 3rd and 1? Do we love him enough to get a goal line stance and smack TCU in the mouth at the 1 yard line when they're trying to penetrate our end zone? Do we love them that much? Yeah. Now, if we do, we're going to win some football games this year, starting with TCU. Like I said, the Frogs, the Horned Frogs, to be exact. Give me my Mountaineer. Give me that mullet, that gun that he has in his hand, and let me see a Horned Frog stop a Mountaineer.
I love it. And this isn't even the pregame speech yet. So if you're just getting all, excited about this, just wait till Gene delivers that pregame speech here in a minute. But I agree. I mean, and you made a good point. Like if they lose this game, and again, they're not favored to win. So in some aspects, it's it would be somewhat expected, but it's not like this is a top 10 team on the road and it's an unwinnable game. It's a winnable game. But the trickery comes in when you have Houston, you have a bye week next week. Then you come back and you play Houston on a Thursday night. You're going to get Houston's best shot. We all know that. We all understand that. You can't afford to kill this momentum where you've won 3 of your first 4 games, go on the road and lose, and then come back after the bye week and fall to 3-3. You can't do that. And then all of a sudden, this is exactly why we've been saying Neil Brown is not necessarily safe just yet. He made that temperature may have came down a couple notches, but it's not like he's sitting in room temp right now, right? It's still a little warm in there. And I don't know. Again, I'm not saying this is a must-win game for Neil Brown or a must-win game for West Virginia, but I mean, if they win this game, it's going to change the whole attitude about where this team and this program is going. Everyone said that about last week. The guy on ESPN Plus was saying, could this be a program-defining win? Against Texas Tech at home? No, that's not a program-defining win. They were 1-2. And I don't know that I would even quantify this as a program-defining win. But it would give you a sense that things are trending in the right direction if you can go on the road in a tough environment, beat TCU at night, and come back to Morgantown in a bye week at 4-1 and 2-0 in conference play.
Man, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. So I don't know when the last time I've ever heard a program. This is a program, win when you got defining win when you got teams that are sliding in here. They got 1 win and 2 wins and 1 win and 3/3, and like, come on, man, you got to be kidding me. I am just at a loss for words when I'm talking about the greatness of our program and where we've gone. Yeah, where we've gone over these last few seasons. It's absolutely frustrating. So I'm gonna slide into, if you don't mind, man. I got to get into my pregame speech right now.
Oh yeah, here we go. Buckle up, folks. This is gonna be some fun. This is something I messaged or I called Gene the other day and I said, you know what, we've got to add this really cool element to the show. And he was all for it. We're gonna do this every week. So before we get into making our picks, Gene is going to give what he would be what the message that he would give to the team in the pregame locker room if he was Neil Brown. So he's putting his visor on right now, and he's getting ready to deliver the speech. to the Mountaineers before they take the field at A&G Carter Stadium against TCU Horned Frogs. So, Coach Brown, take it away.
Shut my door. And let's make sure that everybody is listening up. Listen, we have an opportunity to do something that everybody expects us not to do, including all of the experts out there. These guys and these women who write these columns, each week I sit down and I read this stuff and I go through it piece by piece, line by line, and I'm going to steal a line from Coach Prime. I keep receipts. I keep the receipts. So I understand what they're saying about us. We're supposed to come in here and we're supposed to lay down to TCU. We're supposed to come in and Texas Christian, and we're supposed to say, because we have, we stubbed our toes a little bit over the last few years, me being a head coach. And everybody telling me what I can do, what I can't do, right? Everybody's telling me what my team is and what they're not. Do me a favor. When we take the field today, I want you to show the country. Let's put college football on the on notice of who we are. And you know how we do that? We turn back the hands of time defensively. I remember a time when you played against West Virginia, you were black and blue after the game. Win, lose, or draw, you got smacked in the mouth. So let me rally up my defense, right? Let me make sure that we are coming. Linebackers, I need you scraping. I need you hitting. D linemen, I need you paying mortgage in TCU's backfield. My secondary, we need hands on the ball. We need picks. And when the receivers come across the middle, I want you to make a house call. I want you to make a house call. We want to play popcorn in the secondary. You know what that means? We want nothing but helmets and cleats in the air. That's what I want on defense. Offensively, here's what I need you to do. Everybody talks about our offensive line. That's the strength of our team. Offensively, yes, it is. So guess what? I need my big road graders to open up holes big enough for me to run through. I need my backs to tote that thing. I need them to tote the mail today. I'm going to challenge my running backs. I need 5 yards to carry. I don't care if the water boy's back there lined up 7 yards deep with a helmet on. I need 7 yards a carry. Not 2.5, not 3.5, not 4. I need 7 yards a carry. So that means my road graders up front, my offensive linemen, I'm asking you, can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? Let me see if I can get 2 All-Americans on the offensive line today out of this game. Because if you open up them holes and my backs are getting 7 yards a carry, somebody's going to talk about I got 1 or 2 All-Americans up front. Now we're going to get to my quarterbacks. My quarterbacks, plural. Because I don't know which one of you going to play. You both might play. At the end of the day, we have a age-long tradition at West Virginia at that fine position. These are the games that you make yourself legendary. When you come on the road and you play against a team that we're not supposed to beat, because all the experts say we're not supposed to beat them. So, Mr. Green, Mr. Markell, here's what I need you to do. Both of you, put your helmets together, play as one. Whoever's on the field, help each other out. Let's sync together and win this football game. My receivers, I don't want no balls on the ground. Catch everything that comes to you. I want you to catch a BB in the dark. Show that you are a fine group, one of the better groups in the country, because the last I checked, nobody's checking for my receiving group. That's my challenge for you. Now, again, give me my theme music. Let's go Country Roads.
I love it. Oh my gosh. What a way to end it. Give me my theme music. Country Roads. I love it. How about that, folks? If that doesn't fire you up, I don't know what will. And I knew Gene would be perfect for this. He does motivational talking all the time. And yeah, I think there'd be a few people ready to run through this brick wall. So let us know. How was that first pregame speech from Coach Gene or Coach Brown there? Give us a little rating in the comment section on YouTube, 1 out of 10, 10 being the best. And we'll share that with Gene, see if he can keep stacking those 10s each week. So, Gene, let's go ahead, my brother, and let's get into our weekly pick'ems. Kicking things off in the Pac-12. This is a Friday night game, but we're going there anyways. You usually don't do stuff unless it's a Saturday game, but I thought this was too good of a game to pass up on. Number 10, Utah at number 19, Oregon State, 9 o'clock on FS1. This is the second straight week we picked Oregon State. I went against them last week. I'm going with them this week. I think the Beavers bounce back. They take down Utah. And look, Utah, I respect the hell out of them, but they are a team that's kind of 500-ish on the road. They're not as good as they are at home, so give me the Beavers.
For some odd reason, man, it's hard. Utah is such an interesting football team. Those guys, when they want to play, they play at such a different level. Give me Utah, man. I think the Utes, man, that's a good football team right there. Give me Utah.
And real quick, I want to mention we are also going to get you guys involved with these picks too. If you go 5 for 5 in these pick'ems in any week, we will make it known that we will get in touch with you and we will get you a signed Eugene Napoleon picture. So with him playing at WVU. So we'll get that out to you. So make your picks in the comment section below. We'll be checking them every week. To go 5 for 5, you got an autographed pick coming your way from Gene. So game number 2 in the Big 12, number 24, Kansas at number 3, Texas, 3:30 ABC. Man, it just sounds so easy to go with Texas, right? Like they're clearly the better team, even though Kansas had so much excitement over the last year and a half or so. This Kansas team, Gene, like they're getting better, and I think at some point they're going to break through and beat somebody that you're not expecting them to beat, and you're going to be like, all right, the Jayhawks, they have arrived. That's not this week, though. Hook 'em horns.
Man, that's pretty good right there, Schuyler. I agree with you, and I'm with you on that. I think Texas wins this game, although I do like Kansas. I think they are progressing rather well, but I'm with you. Hook 'em horns.
Number 11, Notre Dame. They lost a very low-scoring game to Ohio State at home. They now go on the road to number 17, Duke. This isn't basketball. This isn't Coach K, Duke. This is the football team. Mike Elko coached Duke at 7:30 ABC. These Blue Devils, man, they're playing some good football. College game day is going to be there. Do I go with the upset? I think I do. I think I'm going to go with Duke here. I'm all within this college game day atmosphere. It's the first time they've ever been there for football. Notre Dame lost a low-scoring game last week. And, hey, Duke, I'm sure, at some point has probably played Sam Hartman. I don't know off the top of my head, but them both being in the ACC, I'm assuming they played at one point in time. If not, they know who he is. Give me the Duke Blue Devils.
And you wonder why you lose to me each year and each week. Okay. You already know Notre Dame is not going to lose 2 games back-to-back, especially in the heartbreaking fashion that they lost to Ohio State. They bounced back, and they bounced back big. Give me Notre Dame.
Okay. And just to let you guys know, Gene went 2-3 last week. I went 3-2. I leapfrogged him, so now I'm 10-10 on the year. He's 9-11. So, anyways, moving on to our last game before West Virginia. And I hated to put this game on here, but I actually wanted to make you feel uncomfortable, Gene. It's Pitt at Virginia Tech, 8 o'clock, ACC Network. Listen, there's only so many good games on this week, and after those first 3, I couldn't really find another one that I really want to talk about. Both of these teams are 1-3. West Virginia's 2 main rivals are 1-3. One of them's going to 1-4, and they only have wins against FCS opponents. Pitt, Virginia Tech. Who you got, Gene?
This is so sad.
Actually, I'll let you. I'll let you think about it. I'll go and give mine first. I'll go with the. I'll go with. I'll go with Pitt.
Well, okay.
Man, I'm getting sick now because of that.
VTech, thank you.
VTech, okay. I mean, I don't know how you picked that game. I really don't. They're both bad football teams. They're not playing well, and obviously,
This is in Blacksburg. This is in
it is in Blacksburg. So yeah, I'm probably wrong there. But maybe this is more reverse psychology. I'd rather Pitt lose, probably more so than Virginia Tech. So if I pick Pitt, maybe just because I picked them, they'll lose. Maybe that's how this thing works out. So
You're right.
Anyways, now the game that you're all here for, and that is West Virginia at TCU, 8 o'clock under the lights out there in Fort Worth. West Virginia, Gene, they've won the last 2 games out in Amon G. Carter Stadium with Neil Brown as the head coach. They've won 4 of the last 5. They lost a tough one last year in Morgantown. We'll see if they get back on the track against TCU this Saturday. Here's Neil Brown.
First of all, national runners-up last year. You guys know that. Got beat in the championship game in Dallas, and known Sonny for a long time. He actually coached me when I was at Kentucky. They do a really good job, and we lost a tough one here last year. It was 34-31. We had a chance with just under 4 minutes to go win the game. We didn't get it done, and then we jump off the sides, and they take a free play and score a touchdown there right at the end. But missed opportunity, and this is our last opportunity before we get a much-needed bye. We play this one, and then we get a little bit of time off. Guys are eager. I think this is about proving if we're going to be a contender in the league or not. They were one of the favorites preseason. Obviously, a team that went on a tremendous run last year. So we're going on the road in a tough environment, and we need to take advantage of that opportunity.
All right, West Virginia TCU, 8 o'clock again this Saturday, Fort Worth. And again, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I don't care if you like the picks or not. I don't care if you think I'm going against West Virginia. I've said from the beginning that this team is going to struggle in these first 5 or so games. This is kind of a tough little schedule, but they've navigated it really well to this point, Gene. They've done a very good job. They beat, a Texas Tech team last week that I didn't think they could beat. And I think they played much better against Pitt than I thought they would when Garrett Green left the game. So I am starting to build some confidence here with West Virginia. I think they've done a lot of good things, but this is a tough game for them. The odds are stacked up against them. And look, I know we don't want to talk about the sports books, and I know we don't want to talk about the computers, but look, they didn't just build the buildings in the desert for no reason. They know what they're talking about. When you're a 2-score favorite, that's a tough thing to overcome. And it's happened before, but I'm going TCU this week. But WVU fans, I promise you, I'm going with West Virginia the next 2 weeks. So don't get on me too hard.
All I have to say, my good friend, give me my theme music, Country Roads.
West Virginia for Gene. How did I know? I love it, man.
I am not going to listen. Give me my Mountaineer against a freaking horned frog any day of the week. Stop it, Schuyler.
So there you have it. I've got TCU, and I do think for what it's worth, West Virginia keeps it close. They cover the 10, 11, 12-point spread, whatever the heck it is. It's just a little bit too much for whatever this quarterback situation is going to be, whether it's Garrett Green coming back, whether it's Nico making his first road start. I don't know. It's an uphill battle. I think TCU wins a very close one. West Virginia gives it a good fight, but they fall short down there in Fort Worth. So that's going to do it for us here today on the Walkthrough Game Day Show. That's Eugene Napoleon, and I'm Schuyler Callihan. This show has been brought to you by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort. And as always, we'll be here for the Mountaineers Now post-game show. Eugene will not be with us. He will actually be traveling to go see his son, Brandon, who also played at West Virginia. He's going to be coaching at Rhode Island this Saturday. He's going to go check out one of his games. So it'll be me riding solo. Maybe I'll get Chris on the post-game show because I don't think he's flying out to Fort Worth. So either way, we'll have the post-game show for you here on Mountaineers Now. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. Hit that like button. And again, if you haven't yet, put in those picks, those 5 games that we predicted. You go 5 for 5 any week, we will send you a Eugene Napoleon autograph picture, so you don't want to miss out on that. Again, for Eugene Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. You've been watching the Walkthrough Game Day Show presented by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort. We'll see you guys here soon. Do you have dirty air ducts? Is your dryer vent plugged up? Well, odds are you probably don't know the answer to that question. Fortunately for you, we know a guy. Give Justin at Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning a call at 304-639-3395 for your free home evaluation. That's 304-639-3395. Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort.